is going on, everybody? Welcome to the show. Another Friday, another episode of Why Are We Bullish? We've got an awesome group of panelists waiting in the wings, coming to get bullish on a Friday evening. And I'm looking and I know that there's going to be some 58K gang that are upset, but we have blown past 58K for a change, and so there'll be tears and there'll be smiles depending on how you affiliate. But either way, it's a good Friday. I'm excited to have everybody here. I hope you guys are doing great. I hope you're having a good week. And of course, this is live. Anything can happen. So I defer to my friend Bill here.
We'll do it live. Fuck it. Do it live. I'll write it and we'll do it live. Thing sucks.
If you have not already, please do like, sub, share, all those things. They're super important and they really help get this content in front of more eyeballs. I am Ben with the BTC Sessions. This is your daily session.
HODL the Bitcoin.
Before we dive in, let's take a look at where we are in the market right now. I'm pulling up timechaincalendar.com and simultaneously, I'm going to pull up that live chat over at the right-hand side of the screen. Everything you say in there is now live for the world to see, for better or worse. But back to Time Machine Calendar. Yes, indeed, we have escaped 58K, at least for the time being. We're sitting at $60,335 per coin. A single US dollar will snag you 1,657 sats. In terms of fees, still low, 3 sats per VByte for next block. And in terms of Bitcoin mine, 19.75 million of them. That is 94.06% of the total supply. We're going to say a quick shout out to our sponsors. We'll be back in 1 minute with our guests. See you guys in a sec. Bitcoin Well is on a mission to enable independence by being one of the easiest and quickest ways to purchase Bitcoin in Canada and the US. The best part about it, every buy goes directly into your own self-custody. They never hold your coins. You can add a Bitcoin address as part of onboarding. There's a transparent 1% spread, no hidden fees, no withdrawal fees. Plus they have KYC free sells and bill payments on their website. They're also a publicly traded company under the ticker BTCW on the TSXV. Check them out over at bitcoinwell.com. Check out my full tutorial on how to use them, and you can check out the links in the show notes down below and sign up today. When it comes to peer-to-peer trading and lending, instant self-custody, and no KYC, HODLHODL is the place to be. You can sign up with just an email address, and once you're there, you can start browsing offers immediately, whether you're looking to buy and sell, or whether you're looking to lend or borrow. You can check them out today at the links down below. All right, we are back in, and it's time to bring in our guests. Very excited to have them here. So I'm going to start bringing them up. So I want to welcome to the stage the duo Born to Be Free, as well as Jose from Capital X, as well as Jhonny Del Fuego, some of the best, delicious, and just everything that you make is delicious. And I'll let you talk about it in a sec. But let's do a quick round of intros for the people watching that may be unfamiliar with who you are. We'll jump over to Born to Be Free. Welcome, both of you. Can you guys give yourselves an intro?
Yes, of course. Thank you so much for having us. We're excited for tonight. I am Naja, and this is my husband, John, and we're founders of Born to Be Free. We make all natural, non-toxic, tallow-based skincare products. We're not just a company, we're a brand.
Yeah, we're a principle-based, value-driven company or brand, like Naja said. So we like to provide a lot of value for our customers and our followers, ranging from health and wellness to we try and sprinkle a little Bitcoin in there. We've been operating for about 9 months now. So as time goes on and people get to know us more, we're going to drop a little more Bitcoin-centric stuff in there. But yeah, we're loving what we do, and that's that.
Hell yeah. Well, I'm glad to have you guys. Thanks for being here. I appreciate it.
One more thing, we actually did a special discount code for everybody here. If they use discount code BULLISH on our website, www.borntobefree.store, they'll get a 21% discount off their order.
I see what you did there.
Oh man,
that's awesome. Well, guys, thanks for being here. And again, sorry if there's noise coming through. Apparently, the beginning of Why Are We Bullish is a great time for construction to begin tearing apart the sidewalk in front of my house. So, but either way, we're gonna keep going. Jose, thank you for being here. Can you give yourself an intro for everybody that may be unfamiliar?
Yeah, hi Ben, and hi to everyone here on your show. Thanks for having us. Yeah, I'm the CEO of CapitalX, CEO and founder. We're a Bitcoin-only exchange in Mexico. We like to see ourselves as a Bitcoin one-stop shop. So anything you need related to Bitcoin while you're in Mexico, just check us out, and we'll help you out.
Hell yeah, that's awesome. I love to hear it. And I appreciate you taking the time to get bullish with us this evening. And I'll toss it down the line finally to Jhonny. Good to see you, man. It's been some time. Thanks for coming on the show. Can you give yourself an intro?
yeah, absolutely. Thanks for having me. It's great to see you guys again. Jose, good to meet you, man. Heard some good things about you. So my name is Jhonny. This is Rocoto over here. Doesn't do a lot of talking, so I'll do most of it. I make a delicious Peruvian hot sauce. It's called Delgado's Fuego, like my last name, and because all my friends always told me it was very fire, so that's where we got the name from. That's kind of where my heart is most of the time, and I also work with Motive Peru, helping creating circular economies in Peru. Peru is where I was born and raised, and also started a meetup group over there called Orangeville, Peru. You can check us out. We have meetups in Lima, Peru, if you guys are around. And here in where I live in Charlotte, I'm part of the Bitcoin Charlotte group. And of course, we're organizing Halloween. But yeah, just a little bit of everything. Like he said, it's all delicious.
That's awesome. Well, again, I'm super glad to have you. Super glad to have everybody in the panel this evening. And we're going to dive in. So anybody that's watching that may be unfamiliar, this show is called Why Are We Bullish? And very simple premise to it. Each one of us have come with a reason for being bullish, something we're currently excited about in and around Bitcoin. And the flow of the show is pretty simple. So whatever the person's reason, it could be a personal item, it could be a bit of news, it could be like an app or a device that they're currently hyped about. It doesn't matter. It can be anything. But the flow of the show is, number one, somebody's going to drop their reason for being bullish. This is their chance to rant a little bit about what they're currently excited about. Number two, altogether, we're going to riff on that reason. Comments, questions, whatever rabbit holes we go down. And finally, number three, we're going to rotate to the next person until we've each had a turn. So reason, riff, rotate, nice and simple. So I'm going to get us started off this evening. And I've been kind of ranting about this the past couple of days because I just got through learning about and trying out this new thing, this new, I don't know, app, piece of software, toy that, I mean, it's something that I feel almost like I'm irrationally excited about it, but it's just like one of those things that I started using and I'm like, wow, everything's working together and I can suddenly do all the, and I've tried stringing together something like this before, but I'm gonna take you on a little journey here of, I'm gonna share my screen so that you guys can see. So this is my Start9 Bitcoin node at home. And so currently running, and I've got this cool little app that's called AlbiHub. And I just put out a tutorial on it yesterday. I did a bit of a rant on the news show on it yesterday as well. But so I guess this is a little bit of a cheat for my reason for being bullish, but I don't care. It's my show. I'll do what I want. So
You're doing it live.
yeah, exactly. So anyways, AlbiHub. So what is this thing? Effectively, it's a way of setting up, maintaining, connecting, and utilizing your Lightning node not just at home, but remotely, and connecting it to external apps, and just it makes your Lightning node easy to set up and also much more useful than I've found it in the past. And the reason I say that is prior I'd maybe be using something like ThunderHub or Ride the Lightning to kind of get things set up and get Lightning channels and all that. And it can be intimidating, especially when you're looking at a couple of those interfaces. It's not the most intuitive thing. Like, it doesn't handhold you through it, and there's all these like dials and buttons. It's like if you're not a pilot and you go sit in the cockpit of a plane and you just see all of these buttons and you're like, I have no clue what the hell to even begin doing. Whereas AlbiHub, it just kind of it handholds you through it. And I won't say it's as easy, obviously, as just like using like some of the custodial Lightning wallets. And for some people, that may be totally enough for them. They just want to be able to zap a few bucks back and forth. That's totally fine. But I am a bit more of a power user, and so I have a lot of use for something like this. So AlbiHub, it basically gives you a short list of here's the things that you should do when you set this up. And it didn't take very long. It allows you to, so you have a node and it allows you to create channels. So you can go and open a channel and you just say, okay, well, how large of a channel do I want? And if you want, you can even choose like what node will open a channel with you if you want to get advanced like that, but you don't have to. But you just say, okay, I want a 1,000,000 sat channel, and you queue it up, and they'll say, okay, well, this is, how much it'll cost you to get a Lightning channel for somebody to open it for you. And then you pretty much just pay that invoice, which might be like a few bucks or something like that, or $10 maybe if somebody's going to lock up Bitcoin in a channel with you for 6 months. And then it just works. And then you can just start receiving Lightning payments and you don't have to worry about it. Alternatively, you could go and yes, you can add on-chain Bitcoin and then say, top up my spending balance, and that will open a Lightning channel for you. But either way, it walks you through all those steps. And once you've done that, then you've basically got this Lightning wallet. So you can, do the regular send and receive kind of functionality here in your wallet. And that's all well and good. But it starts to get cool when you start to look at these connections that you can have, and you can like connect different apps and websites and everything. And they've got this app store where you can link up your AlbiHub with all of these different apps that utilize Lightning for one reason or another. And so the first thing that I did was I got the browser extension, so I can just do send and receive, simple send and receive wallets. And it's nice and easy to use. It also gives me a Lightning address, BTC Sessions at getalbi.com, that directs right back to my own node on my shelf behind me from anywhere. And it's super seamless. And on top of that, I've begun connecting other apps. And so I'm actually going to pull up as an example. I'm going to show my phone here, and give me a second to get it pulled up here. There it is. Okay, one sec. I'll pull it into the screen. There it is. Okay, so I actually connected a handful of things. So Albi, you can do a progressive web app, which is just going in your browser and then you just save it to your home screen. And so this gives me my wallet, and so I can go anywhere and it's just connected to my own node at home. And it queues up quickly. Like it's not going through Tor or anything like that. It just kind of works. And they do Nostr Wallet Connect and all these just clever ways of making this accessible from anywhere. But they also have an app coming out called Albi Go, and this is kind of like an early version of it, but very simple: receive, send, and it shows your balance. And it's very easy to use. But let's say you want something a little bit more complex. I also was able to link Zeus to it. And anybody that's used Zeus before knows that loading screen usually takes forever. And then I was like, I have a second. So you have all these options for connections, which are just super slick. And beyond that, I've also linked Primal for Noster. So like if I go and sorry, my connection's not great with the phone, but you get the point. I can link up my Noster to my own node. And beyond that, I also use Zapright a lot for invoicing and everything because I do live on Bitcoin. And so Zapright has a couple cool things. They have a point of sale terminal. So like, which is just like a link that you can open up in any browser. And so if I'm doing a market or something, maybe I'll get if some pleb watching wants to send over like 200 sats or 20 sats even, you know what's better? Obviously 21 sats. But if somebody wants to send over 21 sats just as a proof of concept to show it pop into my Lightning node, I'm just going to leave that on the screen for a second. But the point is that this link could be shared to any person working in a storefront, and they don't have access to the funds because it's going back to my own Lightning node. There's no spending capability. It's just a static link, and anybody can type in any amount and pay any amount, and it goes back to your own Lightning node from anywhere. So, and hopefully we'll see, maybe people aren't feeling like sending me 21 sats here, but hopefully we'll see it pop up, and then we'll go back and we'll be able to see it in AlbiHub. And we'll also be able to see it in the browser link up here, and we'll be able to see it everywhere that it's connected. It's just instantly. So there we go. Thanks whoever did that. But I can now click on this, and there's that payment that we just got, and it's instantly accessible. I'd be able to see it on my phone. I could then spend it. I can, just everything is interconnected. And same thing if I go to Primal and I want to zap a post. I'll just scroll a little bit. Obviously, there's another Ben. I can't not zap another Ben. So I'll zap him. And there we go. And it just prompts me, hey, do you want to pay this invoice? And yes, absolutely. And so then I just zapped him. And if I look at there, I can see like the outgoing from all my zap that I just did a second ago. So it's just everything just plunks together so nicely and works so seamlessly together, and it's all self-hosted. It's all on my Start9 behind me, and I'm just again irrationally excited about how well it came together, and that it wasn't super hard this time. So I really do like it. So anyways, enough of my ranting. I'm gonna open it up to you guys. I guess in general, I'd love to hear anybody's thoughts on this, but also I'd love to hear a little bit like where you are in your Bitcoin Lightning journey, like what tools you're currently using, where you'd like to get to. So whoever wants to dive in, feel free to cue it up.
I can go first. Like I can talk for experience, and like what you just did, it's really hard. Like people don't realize like having your own Lightning wallet, like it's very easy if you're working on your own network, but once you go outside that network, like before that, like you really need crazy technical skills and configure your firewall and open ports, and it was like a very hard thing to do for the average person. So I'm just mind blown. Like wow. I mean it really makes it just plug and play and click. Like that would actually make Lightning less decentralized. So I mean, impressive. Cheers to the Albi guys. They're really making great job.
It's the nice thing is connecting those wallets that I had on my phone. It's literally you just go in and you hit add connection, and it just brings up a QR code, and it's using something in the background called Nostr Wallet Connect. But you scan it, and then it's just linked. You can adjust it, like if you want to set a budget so that like you're worried, oh, I don't want to have access to my full Lightning node balance. You can set like, oh, maybe I'm only allowed to spend 100,000 sats a week on it, or something like that, or 1 million sats over the course of a month, and then it'll bump up against that. So that, but you can set it as you see fit. And you're not having to like do Tor connections, and it's not a pain in the ass. So it's quite good as you're pointing at.
It was the last hurdle, the last hurdle, because before having your own node, it was difficult, but then Umbrel and then the one you just showed, like make it like a UI very simple. But then there was this hurdle to use it outside your local connection, and now they just they just make it happen. It's just crazy how technology keeps improving.
Yeah.
No, that helps a lot with adoption, because that's usually what we need. We got so many people come into the space lost about what they're doing, and I'll be safe my butt when Blue Wallet moved away from Lightning servers. And then that's what I use as my server. I use Blink Wallet whenever I'm outside of the United States, but I can still use it here. But yeah, and Alvi, man, good job, guys. That was amazing.
The other cool thing about it too, like you're talking about accessibility and helping people become a little bit more self-sovereign with this. One of the things I really like about this is from the hub, I can be like, oh, I want to allow, say, a family member to connect to my node, not like take the money out of my existing balance, but I can go and I can say like, oh, I want to add a connection and I want this one to be isolated, meaning this app will have its own balance and only sees its own transactions. So when the person links to it, they will see a zero balance, but they use my Lightning channels to be able to receive payments, and it will just be a segregated balance just for them. So I can like Uncle Jim my friends and family if I want through my node. So at least it becomes, they're not hosting their own node, but like they know the person who is. And I think that's super cool as well.
Yeah, that looks awesome. I mean, we're not the most technical. I do run a node, but I kind of stopped at the Lightning channel part. But
it's hard, man. It's hard. Like I imagine you looked at it and you're like, what the hell am I looking at?
Yeah, and I was really excited when I got the node. I think it was a little over 2 years ago. I just bought my node. I have been having some issues, so I'm actually going to get a Start 9.
Yeah.
Just because I kind of lost my patience. Nothing, it was great at that time, but I want to use all the other features that you just showed. But I tried to set it up all in the same day. Like I was so excited about my node. So I set that up, took me a little while. And then I tried to set up the Lightning right after that. And I was like, screw this. And then I just never came back to it. I was using Blue Wallet. And then when they went away from that, I was using Phoenix. And then I just moved from Phoenix to Zeus because of the Phoenix in, we're in America. So obviously, yeah. But after all that nonsense, and then Ben, like you said, Zeus takes forever to load. So like I haven't even been using it. I'm back to using Moon, which isn't even full Lightning. So it's like, it's just frustrating. So now you actually just helped me out. I'm going to get that Start 9. I'm going to download that and continue to use my Zeus.
Hell yeah, man. It's because I really like what Evan Kalutis and Zeus Wallet are doing. But yeah, when it's running a node on your own phone, again, that intro screen and like getting connected is just, it takes a while to boot up. And like, it's not an ideal experience when you're like, I'm going to use Lightning because it's quick and I can do like quick small payments and everything. And then you're sitting there like, yeah, okay, I'll buy this coffee. Just a sec. Hold on. I'm just starting up. I'm booting up the Lightning node on my phone. Give me a couple minutes here. Like
AOL, the dial tone when the internet first came out.
Yeah, exactly. It's very much that. It's like the promise is there. It's just the headache of being the ultra early adopter. The like, 1% of the population, sub 1% of people that are even trying to dabble in having like a Lightning wallet on their phone and utilize Bitcoin day to day. It's just like so minimal right now.
Yeah. That's why we're so early.
Yeah, exactly. So what do you guys, I've got to ask currently, what are you guys using for day-to-day Lightning wallets if you are using Lightning wallets on your phone or something?
Yeah. So I'm using Moon. I know it's not a real Lightning wallet. I found that out when the whole ordinal thing was happening and fees were through the roof.
Right. Yeah.
We were actually in El Salvador last year when that was going on. So it was a little frustrating because I was paying everybody in Bitcoin, but I had to switch to on-chain. So I was paying, just to contribute to the circular economy, I was paying crazy fees because I was too stubborn to use fiat. So I was like, all
We
right.
didn't spend any fiat in
No,
El Salvador.
no fiat. So Lightning wasn't working. So I was like, you know what? I'm gonna pay these fees because I'm determined to use Bitcoin. I'm here in El Salvador and I'm gonna use it. So with a situation like that, it was a little frustrating. At that time, though, I was using Phoenix, but even Phoenix wasn't able to process payments at the time.
Yeah. It's been tricky. And I mean, you guys in the US, like Wallet of Satoshi pulls out.
Yeah.
And so that was like the easy option for custodial. You had again, obviously Phoenix was like, yeah, we're just not going to be in the US App Store anymore. You know, and on top of that, obviously, like not Lightning related, but like there's the spooks around like, oh, well, we're going to shut down and arrest the Samurai founders, and that spooked everybody. And you guys have been through the ringer when it comes to easy Lightning options. I mean, there's Blink as well, and they just never even were in America. They were just like, yeah, we're not going there at all. And even like I do in terms of like Lightning Wall, I really like Speed. They are a custodial option, but like it works like a charm. But like because Speed is like worried about the US and how they're handling things, they're like, all right, only US customers, we're going to need like some sort of like ID type something because we don't want to get slapped by the DOJ or something. And so it's like, yeah, if you're in the US, you don't have a lot of great options. So in terms of like just easy onboarding to Lightning, that doesn't require some type of trade-off. And so it's a bit of a minefield.
Yeah, it's
Yeah,
just
for
crazy
sure.
how time flies. You know, I was in the US like 8 years ago doing my undergrad, and you know, if you tell me then that, you know, technology was going to be like somehow like interrupted or not being like able to flourish in America, I would not believe you. Like it's just crazy how things change so fast. And yeah, for me, what I use is, you know, capital X, of course. But when I want to do it in a self-sovereign way, I use Zeus connected to my wallet, and I use, I don't know if you heard about Tailscale. It's kind of like a VPN. It's pretty fast, and it works great.
Yeah, that was like for like Umbrel, that's a good solution in terms of just being able, or I think that is it on MyNode as well?
Umbrel.
Okay, all right, yeah. So yeah, it's like it like makes a VPN to your node, so you don't have to go through Tor. It just does like a quick connection. So you got to have you just have like the app running in the background, and you're good to go. Definitely like a good interim solution for reliable connections. And I think Start9 is going to start to have some options in that vein. They didn't add Tailscale because it's not open source, but they're going to have some, you know, VPN type solutions coming pretty soon. So yeah. Jhonny, what did you say you were currently using? I don't know if I heard.
Well, I am in the land of the free, so you know I use Coinbase.
Oh yeah.
No, I'm just kidding. No, I did go through a lot of them. I like to use different wallets just to mess around with it, just play around. So I use Wallet of Satoshi, Phoenix, Zeus.
Yeah.
Whenever I went to El Salvador, I got a Salvadorian number and I downloaded Blink.
Yeah.
I even got Delgado's Fuego on the map until they told me, oh, we can't have it because you're in the US.
Yeah.
So that's the one I've been having. And unfortunately, my phone just got destroyed. So luckily, I was able to get all of my Blink funds out of there. So now I'm using Blue Wallet for now.
Yeah, fair enough. And actually, Jhonny, I just saw that link. So are they open source?
They are just I think they released some of their code recently, but you need to do your own instance. But yeah, they do release some. Yeah.
So maybe okay, cool. Well, that's promising. That's good to hear. Awesome. And I want to pull up again. This makes me sad. This is another one that I forgot to mention, but Satwise brings up a good one. Mutiny Wallet, Lightning Gateway, and Fedimint was dope. And then they just like well, I won't say they rug pulled, but they basically said like, hey, we're sunsetting everything. It's just like not working out, and which is sad. You can self-host it, but like, yeah, you know, that's unfortunate. Mutiny I think that they had a good idea in the way that they were structuring things, bringing people in through a fediment so you can just start receiving right away. And then when you get up to a certain point, when you get up to a certain balance, they're like, oh, just tap this button and it'll convert into a lightning channel for you because it makes sense with that amount. I think that's a good way of going about it. Blitz, is it Blitz Wallet? I think they're doing something like that. They're doing some weird mix between Cashew and like liquid swaps with bolts, and then full self-custody lightning channels. And depending on the increment that you are, it'll move from one to the other, which is kind of interesting.
They just make life more complex. You know, I think lightning works pretty well.
Yeah, fair enough. Awesome. Well, I'm gonna put a bow on this topic here. I was able to get that off my chest. Thank you guys for indulging me in my nerdy excitement over my Albi Hub. But with that, I'm gonna do a rotation. Born to be Free. I'm looking at you guys. I imagine you have a pair of reasons for being bullish. So I'm gonna let you navigate that on your own. Whoever wants to go first and everything, but yeah, I'll cue you up with the same question everybody's going to get. Why are you bullish?
Awesome. All right. I'm going to go first. And thanks for all that information, by the way. We're going to definitely check that out. We're excited about it.
Yeah.
But yeah, so why am I bullish? Oh my God. So there's so many reasons why I'm bullish. And I am just as bullish as I am nervous right now to tell you guys. No, I got it. All right. So I'm going to go with this one because it hits home with me. So just a little backstory. So John and I got into Bitcoin. It was the end of 2020. So COVID times, right? You know, we went down a whole bunch of rabbit holes like many other people did. Those rabbit holes were, chemicals in our skincare products, toxins in the environment, our food system, the corruption of our food system, and just, you know, our health overall as a society just declining. And with all those rabbit holes, you know, they all tied together, and there was really just, they all had one thing in common. Well, two things actually, and that's money and greed, right? So then we went down the monetary rabbit hole. And I guess we kind of simultaneously did this. Like John went down, he's like the numbers guy, and I'm like the visionary person, right? And kind of like do my own thing. But so he went down the monetary rabbit hole, and I went down like the health rabbit hole. And, you know, with that, we discovered Bitcoin. And once we discovered Bitcoin, freedom money, as we like to call it, we couldn't shut up about it. We were just so fired up, didn't stop talking about it. I think our family and friends started getting really sick of hearing about it, especially because they haven't pieced the puzzle pieces together yet, you know? So I think we came on a little strong and a little hard at first, but, you know, we took a step back, and now I feel like the tide is shifting. More recently than ever, I feel like people are starting to wake up. They're starting to realize that something's broken and something is wrong here. They're working harder, they're working longer hours, and they're not being rewarded for it. And, you know, we know that this is because of the government constantly printing money and inflating the dollar, and you know, we're losing our purchasing power. So, you know, they've been conditioned to think that inflation is normal, and it's not. As we know, it's not. It's stealing their wealth, it's stealing their time, and it's stealing their quality of living. You know, a lot of people are living paycheck to paycheck, and they can't buy a home, or they can't take that vacation that they want to take, or they're kind of like cheaping out on like quality food, and then that affects their health in the long term. But working overtime and trying to make ends meet comes with a trade-off, and you're sacrificing the things that make life worth living. And that's time with your loved ones. That's quality time. So next to Bitcoin, time is our scarcest asset, right? And we're not meant to grind our lives away. We're human beings. I love this saying. We're human beings. We're not human doings, right? We're here to live. We're here to just be. So, I think everyone's starting to understand that there is an issue here, and they're getting frustrated. And once that frustration bucket starts to overflow, I think they're going to start seeking a solution. And as we know, that solution is Bitcoin. Bitcoin's also finally taking the center stage. And I mean, we've got presidential candidates that are talking about it and going to Bitcoin conferences and, talking about it and trying to win Bitcoiners' votes. It's an amazing thing. They understand the importance of this scarce digital asset, and, it's changing the world as we know it. And, I'm hoping that this gives Bitcoin some more credibility, the credibility that it actually deserves. So anyway, with that whole rant, why am I bullish? I'm bullish because Bitcoin wasn't just invented to be cool. It's not just another cryptocurrency. It's here to stay. And it was invented to fix this very problem that we're all facing right now. And, it's the tool to help reclaim our freedom, our time, and our future, really. I think we've all had enough of being enslaved by this broken system, and Bitcoin is our way out. And I think we're just getting started here. So that's why I'm bullish.
I love it. It is that tool to set you free, right? Like if somebody can, if you're pouring your blood, sweat, and tears into a money that somebody else can print for free, like, are you free then? Like that's the real question of it. Like, they're stealing your time. It's yeah, I love that. I'm gonna let Jhonny or Jose tap in there if there's any little threads that you want to pull on and everything, and if there's anything that you want to add to it. But I don't know, what do you guys think there?
As a Bitcoin, I agree everything you guys said. I do believe that we have forgotten to be true humans and get to our higher self and be able to do the amazing things that we can do, because we're so busy trying to make money to survive and then, die. We don't really get to do what we're meant to do, which that's what I believe plant medicine and Bitcoin will save us all. That's something I truly believe myself. And yeah, absolutely. Bitcoin opens your eyes to a lot of these things, and it changes your mind, and I hope that it keeps going. It keeps adapting, and we just keep doing this.
Yeah, I couldn't agree more. I think, like you said, like once that bucket starts filling out, people start looking for solutions, and Bitcoin is here to help anyone who wants to help. So it's just a matter of them wanting to help themselves.
Wanting it, exactly. They have to want it.
Yep.
What's the saying? You can't bring the horse. You can bring the horse to the water, but you can't make it drink, right?
Yeah, but you can make it thirsty.
That's true.
It's interesting how like people come in to Bitcoin from different perspectives, and sometimes it's Bitcoin can change the way you think about the world, and other times people have already begun to change the way they think about the world, which then leads them to Bitcoin. So it's like there's no set path for anybody, and for me it was very much I had what I thought was a picture of how the world worked, and then I encountered Bitcoin, and bit by bit it tore down my preconceived notions of how everything worked. And I think completely differently than I did before. I've said this before, but it's still a source of shame. Like, I voted in Justin Trudeau back in 2015. You know, I was, you know, back in that time, like I would have been, you know, Bernie bro to the max. Like, oh yeah, let's like get even more social programs and like you know, like let's redistribute so that and UBI is a great idea. We'll just give everybody money. Doesn't that solve everything, right? Like, like that was my line of thing, because I hadn't thought any deeper of it, that like the money itself isn't the value. It's like the actual assets, and it's the actual goods and services and the hard work that people do are the actual wealth, and just adding more paper dollars doesn't make anybody wealthier. Like I just didn't understand that. So it reshaped everything for me.
Right. I mean, we're programmed a certain way, and until we realize that there's another side and we started scrutinizing into what else is available, then we just followed the herd. And I mean, I've been there too. You know, I grew up in Peru, and like seeing this, how everything was there, and then moving here, I was like, okay, I see two different worlds now. So now I'm in this world in the United States, or well, America, and then I'm like, wait, there's something going on here, and then Bitcoin just helped me there, you know, along with everything else, because I'm always questioning everything. You have to.
Yeah, yeah. I like to say Bitcoin is the greatest teacher, because it really, once you start studying it, you learn so much about so many different facets of what's going on. I mean, you know, I got into it, thought it was just like a stock play or something like that. And then you just start listening to podcasts, you come across one thing, you start reading books, and then you discover the Federal Reserve and money printing and bonds and debt. It's just, I mean, people are so busy working that they're not taking the time to study this, but it's so important, because it really does change your entire outlook on the world and how it functions. And it does help you think a little more clear. So once you understand it, I feel like you're better off, and you're able to make well-informed decisions on how to navigate your own personal life.
Yeah, 100%. Now I want to keep it with you guys so that we can kind of do both at the same time. But I also want to like leave some room if anybody like if there's any tag-ons through this one, and you guys kind of alluded that maybe your reasons for being bullish may a little bit kind of flow into each other. So I don't want to like preemptively flow over into the next one, but unless anybody has like more tidbits that they want to add in, or you guys can move on to reason 2 for the two of you if you want.
Yes. So Naj is bullish because people, at least the people close to us, it's becoming apparent that they're recognizing that there is a problem. That's why she's bullish. I'm bullish on the actual problem. So like, you know, I'm going to nerd out a little bit too. And I like to take like an economical point of view.
Numbers guy, the visionary gal.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
she's bullish that people are realizing there's a problem, and I'm bullish the problem is actually making me very bullish. And I like to always start with debt to GDP. And like my man Greg Foss always says, the U.S. is the fastest horse at the glue factory. So I'll start with them. So the U.S. debt to GDP is 125%, right? But as we all know, Bitcoin's a global asset. It's not just specific to the United States. So I really like the global debt to GDP metric, and that's around 340%. And you know, it's an insane number. And shout out to Jack Mallers, because I love his definition of money. He says that money is our energy in an abstracted form that we use to either save or exchange for goods and services, right? So the global debt to GDP metric, it shows that governments across the world, not just in the US, have been borrowing a tremendous amount of our time and energy. And the main problem is there's no growth to pay it back. So somebody has to realize that loss. And that somebody is anybody who stores their time and energy in the dollar, or pick your local fiat currency or government bonds. So those are the individuals that are going to be hurt the most. And just to kind of like hone in on the actual figures, the U.S. national debt is It's over $35.3 trillion, and it's growing rapidly, right? I mean, the annual interest payment alone is over $1 trillion. That's just one line item, $1 trillion. That's more than the defense spending. That's more than Social Security, Medicare, Medicaid, any of that. So that's compounding fast. And then again, if we zoom out, you have the global debt, which is over $315 trillion. And, you know, you could toss around these numbers, but it's really difficult for us humans to comprehend the magnitude of a billion, a million, a trillion. So I like to use this example to kind of put it in perspective. I like to use time. So 1,000,000 seconds is equivalent to about 12 days. Okay. You got 1,000,000 seconds. That's 12 days. 1 billion seconds is equivalent to 32 years, just under 32 years. It's 31 years and 8 months, but we'll just say 32 years. So you have 1,000,000 seconds, 12 days, 1 billion seconds, 32 years. That's an insane jump from 1,000,000 to 1 billion. Now, you take a trillion seconds is 31,688 years. So you have these elected or unelected bureaucrats just tossing around trillions like it's nothing. Like, hey, what's a couple trillion amongst friends? Eh? Like it's nothing. I mean, it's mind blowing, and just they don't think twice about it. They don't question it. Often I hear, oh, we just got to earn more money. Like, no, dude, I'm not working 100 hours a week, 120 hours a week to earn more money that they could just continuously print at no cost of energy or time of their own. So, and actually, another crazy stat, Janet Yellen just released a report somewhat recently from the Treasury. It's 450 pages, of course, so nobody reads it, but somewhere in there, there's a statistic on unfunded liabilities. And unfunded liabilities are promises that we made as a nation that we have to pay, but there's no money to pay it. Now, this is crazy, right? So it's just two programs, Medicare and Social Security. And that number is $170 trillion.
So,
Dude,
wow.
like, so now there's only one way to resolve all this, to pay all this. And we all know what it is. That's printing money. That's inflating the money supply, which in turn debases the purchasing power of those individuals that store their savings in the dollar or any fiat currency or bonds, because a 5% yield is not nearly enough to keep up with true inflation. I'm not talking about the manipulated CPI metric. I'm talking about beachfront real estate, ribeye steaks. Like, go put that in the basket and come back to me and tell me if you think it's 5%. It's more like 10% compounded over the last 100 years since the Federal Reserve was incepted. So, I mean, it's obvious why I'm bullish, because when they print money, when the government, central banks print money, and the M2 money supply expands and there's global liquidity coming into the market, we all know what Bitcoin does. It appreciates aggressively. So, man, I'm hyped up. That's why I'm bullish.
We'll go all day, guys.
I love it. I love it. You know what I had ticking away over on my side screen here while you were saying that? I was like, okay, as soon as this rant is, and this reason for being bullish, it obligatory, we had to bring this up, the debt clock.
Yeah, if people don't believe me, there you go.
So like the I just looked it up. The median income in the US as of 2024, and this is median, not average, but the median income is $80,000 a year. And if you look up here at the US national debt, literally like, and there's somebody's yearly income. There's somebody's yearly income. Like, it's literally like every a second and a half, 2 seconds, 3 seconds, something like that. It's just the median household, or the median income is just like spent and just gone. And it's not slowing down, right? Like it's crazy. And you look at some of these numbers, like again, like Medicare, Medicaid, all that, like it's unbelievable. This is such a great website too. It's just, and there's no way that the human brain can comprehend these numbers. Like they're like, as you said, it's just, we hear million, billion, and trillion and just treat them relatively the same. But like $1 trillion is just so astronomically high that it's inconceivable to most of us, like, well, to everybody. Like, your brain just can't wrap your head around a number like that. And but it's, again, when you're basically out of spending and out of nothing creating the equivalent of somebody's yearly salary inside of a couple of seconds, that you're kind of, it's like you're erasing that person's economic impact. So every 2 seconds, the US erases the economic impact of an entire year of one of their citizens working, and all of this decisions that they would have made and where they allocate the resources. It's just kind of like undone at the press of a button. And so, like, I often say that how you spend the fruits of your labor communicates your values, and you expect those values to be reflected back at you because you're contributing to society, and you help kind of form what that society does by allocating your resources. But again, if that's undone by the government and their money printing, your values are diluted and no longer reflected back to you in kind, in terms of like how much you've contributed. And so I think when you don't see that, when your values aren't reflected back at you through the society you're living in and contributing to, then you begin to lose those values and your values degrade. So like I think it undermines the moral fabric of society, and makes people get to that nihilistic place where they're like, well, why do I bother? Why do I contribute? Why do I do anything? I'm just gonna figure out how to, siphon away value from this system because that's what it's doing to me. I think that's the net effect. But I'm curious to hear Jose and Jhonny and what they have to say about it too.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's just, the debt problem is not going anywhere. I think it's just going to be a change of system. But for now, let's just, like Sailor is doing, let's use it to our advantage and help ourselves play the system, play their game, and then move on to the next game, which is coming pretty soon.
The Hunger Games. But yeah, we're definitely living in some type of modern slavery, designed to just keep us all numb. Because yeah, look at those numbers. Doesn't really mean a lot to a lot of people until you really look into them. But even then, like you said, it takes so long for 1 trillion seconds. Yeah, I can't compete that. I don't understand that. There's that much money out there that we owe, and we're supposed to pay over $100,000 each one of us. Like, when do they come to collect?
Yeah, and like, something that Naj said, and why she was bullish, that people are conditioned to believe that prices are just supposed to go up, right? Like the infamous 2% target of the Fed, just 2%, which is compounding every year, that they just steal from our purchasing power, our time and energy. And I love Jeff Booth's point of view on this with technology is deflationary, right? Like, I mean, how is it that you could purchase a home in the early 1900s for, on average, I think it was $2,500. And today in 2024, it's on average $400,000. Now, it's easier to build a house. You use less manpower because we have tools and technology. It's easier to actually gather the materials. And to top it all off, the houses today are built like shit in comparison to the houses in the early 1900s. So not only are we paying exponentially more, we're getting a garbage product for a lot more money when we should actually be paying less than $2,500 for a house. And then people will say, oh, well, wages kept up, wages increased too. But no, wages did not increase at the rate that the cost of living increased. I mean, we should be reaping the benefits. And by we, I mean all of humanity, of technology. Technological innovation is something that we do as a civilization together. And that's why I love Bitcoin because Bitcoin not only protects us from the corruption of government overspending, but it also allows us to reap the benefits of technological innovation that we, the humans, because governments don't produce shit, we produce everything that we produce. So, you know, that's something too, that we've been conditioned to just think, oh, well, prices just are supposed to go up because that's the way it is. No.
Yeah. It kind of makes you wonder, had we not been sitting through a fiat currency, had we actually had sound money for the past number of decades, like what kind of incentives, like on top of the fact that yeah, you would then basically give access to the, I mean, the reason that we see such a wealth gap is because the wealth and the assets are it's much easier to have them concentrate into the hands of a few. And the technological benefits are, it's easy to kind of siphon those off when you can be closer to the money spigot. I wonder how incentives would have aligned and what types of technological leaps forward we would have made with properly incentivized money, right? Like right now it's build the cheapest, crappiest thing and just pump it out so that you can, you know, earn some money and then, you know, get some hard assets. And everybody is getting by buying cheaper and lower quality products and food and everything. But what if everything was just getting better and cheaper all the time? And so people began to actually more carefully decide on where they're going to allocate the fruits of their labor. And like, what other things could we have allocated time and effort to? What leaps forward in innovation? What incredible things could we have accomplished if everybody actually had the time and the means to put their skills to the test in areas and like propel us into the future, rather than like, okay, how are we gonna figure out how to scrape something together so that we can put some food on the table for our kids?
Yeah,
I mean, just look what they did on the Renaissance. You know, you know, it was like way back, and look what they built, and you know, and look what we built. You know, it's like buildings in New York. It's like 40 years since they built them, and they're falling apart. And then you go to Italy, and there's like 2,000-year buildings, and you're like, what? You know, it's just crazy.
It's crazy.
We'll probably be building things that 1,000 years from now, people will be like, hey, that was aliens. They did that.
Yeah. And Ben, to touch on what you were just saying, right? I think about often, just think about the amount of intellectual capital that we lost to the fiat system, right? Like how many doctors, scientists, engineers, architects went to Wall Street because that's where the money was, to play around with Excel spreadsheets and numbers that doesn't produce any value to propel society forward, right? How many of the smartest individuals went that route instead of following their passion to become an architect or an inventor, or, you know, be like an Elon Musk or somebody like that? I mean, I think about that all the time. It has to be tens of millions of people that went that route instead of going with their passion, and how much we lost as a society because of that. It's frustrating.
100%. I'm just going to jump off of you too and what Ben said, but like, you know, we are just so disconnected too. Like we're just so disconnected with ourselves, with nature, especially. Like we're like robots these days, you know? So if we can contribute to society by like providing value and just, you know, and contributing to ourselves and really putting ourselves first and reconnecting with, like, you know, nature and the things that we're supposed to be doing. It's like we're not like human anymore. You know what I mean? It's people are sick, man. Like just it's just such a different world that we're living in compared to like 100 years ago. Like even skincare. I mean, I could go on about this forever, like down a million rabbit holes, but like skincare and food. I mean, you know, there's just all these chemicals now, and all these vaccines that are getting injected in cows, and cows aren't even being raised in the US anymore. We raise the best beef here in this country, but we're sourcing it from other countries, third world countries. And it's just like, this is the stuff that we're putting in our bodies. This is how we're treating the American people. And it's just, that's like not the way that it's supposed to be. We could be flourishing and thriving in so many other ways, but because of money, being devalued, it's just broken money, broken system.
Yeah, the bad incentives.
Totally. So, I just got to keep building our own parallel structures, our own avenues, and just opting out of the system. But I just hope more people wake up soon.
Have you guys read Fiat Food?
Of course.
Oh, it's so good. It was like that's my favorite read in quite a long time. I've thoroughly enjoyed it. Matthew Leshak, God, what a legend. And I mean, he was an investigative journalist calling out government corruption for 20 years, and it, like, the way that he dissected like the rabbit hole of like how screwed our food system is now, and like the all of the different things that came together to make it as bad as it is right now is mind bending. What a good read.
Ansel Keys, huh?
Yeah.
Ansel Keys, that sick bastard.
Well, like the hilarious thing, the thing about the Kellogg brothers and like Kellogg's cornflakes and like why that was invented, when you say it out loud, people are like, you're a crazy person.
You're
like
conspiracy theorist.
Yeah,
you clearly made this up, or wherever you got this is like completely illegitimate. But like, that's a real thing. He was literally commissioned by the Seventh-day Adventist Church to make a replacement for meat as a breakfast alternative, because too many, like, they wanted it to be like to kill men's testosterone so they would stop masturbating. Like, that was the reason for, that was the inception of Kellogg's cornflakes.
Whoa.
Like, stick around.
Yeah.
Wild, right?
Look at the food pyramid, right? What they, and all the food that they serve in school. I mean, Callie Means is another guy. If you listen to him, he's unbelievable.
Yeah.
All over the space, just calling out the corruption. I mean, but that's the thing. It's since COVID, things have turned around, and COVID did one of two things. You could have either just been a part of the herd and put your head down, put your mask on, yes sir, yes ma'am, do as you're told, or you went the other way. You started asking questions and you started building and seeking out parallel structures, and
became woke, or you woke up.
Yeah,
it was like one or the other.
That's fair. Yeah. Awesome. Well, I love that. And again, I think both reasons for being bullish complemented each other perfectly. So I appreciate
didn't
that.
plan that at all, I swear.
Well, that's awesome. Well, I'll put a bow on that set of reasons for being bullish, and we are going to do another rotation. Before we do, I'm going to do our final shout out to sponsors, and we're also going to give away some sats. So if people in the audience have their Lightning wallets on the ready, one person will end up snagging some sats as soon as we come back. So we'll do our quick shout outs here, and we will be back momentarily. So I'll see you guys in just a sec. Speed Wallet is a Bitcoin Lightning wallet built with simplicity in mind. Spend and receive with ease, claim your own Lightning address, shop your favorite gift cards, and even earn rewards when you spend. Head over to speed.app to download the app on your mobile or desktop today, and use the link down below to get 5,000 sats for free and have the chance to win even more. Keeper is a mobile Bitcoin application for managing and securing your funds for the long term. You can set up hot wallets for day-to-day spending or create digital vaults for deep cold storage. They also offer assisted multisig options as well as inheritance planning. And on top of that, Keeper boasts a long list of support for Bitcoin hardware, longer than I've seen for any other mobile application. You can check them out today by searching Bitcoin Keeper in your app store or heading to bitcoinkeeper.app. CoinKite.com has some of the best hardware on the market today to secure your Bitcoin. The Cold Card Q is an absolute powerhouse and is my daily driver. And on top of this, they have plenty of other goodies, including the Mark IV, the Tap Signer, Open Dimes, the Block Clock, and much more. If you head over to their website, make sure you use code BTC Sessions at checkout to get a nice discount. Links are in the show notes down below. All right, we are back in. We're going to give away some sats, and then we're going to dive into our next reason for being bullish. So hopefully people watching have some Lightning wallets pulled up, ready to go. One person will get to snag this. So I'm on the Bitcoin Well dashboard. Anybody in familiar, they're in Canada and the US. And basically through sign up, through when you buy Bitcoin, when you refer friends, you earn points, and then you can use those points to throw a coin in the Bitcoin Wishing Well, where you can win between 500 up to 1 million sats. So I'm going to do that now. I'm going to hit play now. I'm going to redeem 500 points. I'll make this nice and large. So whoever scans first is going to redeem 500 sats right now. So I'll leave it on the screen for a few seconds there, and hopefully somebody snags them. And if you do snag the sats, let me know wherever you may be, whether it be watching over on Nostr or on YouTube or on X. Wherever you are, let me know in the comments. And congrats to whoever snags those sats. And with that, let's dive back into the show. And Jose, I'm going to toss it to you. I'm going to cue you up with the same question everybody gets. Why are you bullish?
So why am I bullish? To be honest, it's just seeing how, you know, I have so many friends that I've been trying to orange peel for the last 5, 7, 10 years. And not friends, you know, people that I know, people that run like big business or whatever. And they were all, you know, just laughing at me, telling me I was crazy. But then all of a sudden, like you guys said, after COVID, I think people like started like awakening a little bit. And I think in this last year, like I've seen a huge awakening in the people. Like people are realizing and are seeing, you know, the problems out there. And like, you know, I'm seeing a lot of networks develop, you know, because networks teach each other the technology, all the information. So before I was like isolated in Mexico, and there were very few people in Mexico in Bitcoin, but now they're like all over the place. Everywhere I go, and there's like communities. No, it's not like one isolated guys. There's communities everywhere, and they're just like, for me, you know, I'm here in Europe, and I'm, you know, just looking at the big cathedrals and everything we've built. It's like, you know, I have a lot of faith in humanity. I think we are, you know, impressive beings, and it's just a matter of having the right tools and the right incentives to build, you know, very inspiring things. And you know, now we have Bitcoin, so now it's just a matter of people finding it, knowing how to use it properly. But like, you know, I'm just impressed on seeing the communities develop and the technology, because without the technology it's very hard. Like what you were showing right now, Ben, you know, the being able to hook up your Lightning wallet to someone that you trust. I've been trying to build something like that, but you know, I don't have the time, and I've been trying to, you know, talk to people so they can build something like that, and then out of the blue is built, you know. So I think, you know, sometimes I just think like, imagine in the .com bubble, there were no, you know, smartphones, there was no Wi-Fi, there was no 4G, 3G. So, and they were already very excited. So I think we are in that point in time where we're very excited in Bitcoin, but we have no idea what's coming, you know. So I'm really bullish on humanity, and I'm bullish on people because they're awakening, and I'm seeing all these networks develop. And I think, you know, it's going to be like they say, you know, it's slowly and then suddenly, you know, we just have to have the technology ready. But I think we're 99% down that way. So I'm pretty excited to be honest.
I love the community aspect of things, and you're so right, where you're starting to see just pockets of people everywhere, like meetups, circular economies, events, conferences, like all of these different things are just, I mean, I remember my early days in Bitcoin, and there was like one podcast about Bitcoin, and I'd be like, I would wait for it every week and be like, oh, thank God, I can listen to somebody talk about this cool thing that I'm super excited about. And that was like the only one that I could listen to. And then it gradually, there started to be more content. There started to be, and then like meeting the first Bitcoiner that I ever met. And there's just like a few people in my city that would hang out, and there's like some general awareness. And now it's like, I can regularly, like, all my friends are Bitcoiners, like all my like closest friends are Bitcoiners.
Now you're famous.
Which is, yeah, if you had told me that my job would be to chat about something that I love and to teach people about something that I love and create videos on the internet about something that I love, and that was a job, I would have called you crazy. And like now it's like, oh yeah, you know, I get to meet all these incredible people. I get to have these amazing, like this, I'm at work right now. Like that's crazy. That's crazy. I get to hang out with you guys and talk about Bitcoin, and that's my job. And it's I'm so happy about that. But you're right. Like the communities, like people hunger for it when they latch on and they understand, begin to see like how important this is going to be. They need to share it with somebody else. And so that's where we're seeing all these meetups and all these groups. And like there's you know, of course there's El Zonte, but like there's all these different places popping up, and you see, and you can go online and see like all of these communities around the globe. It's wild. It's so wild, and it continues to grow. Like we're still in the early innings, and it's just everywhere. And I'm really curious, like with Jhonny and both of the our born to be free couple here. Like you guys must see it in your communities as well.
Yeah.
Go ahead, Jhonny.
Well, I don't want to step on my reason to be bullish, but I think we're already there. So,
wait, if you want to, if it ties in, then I think we may as well like complement the reasons together, because the community aspect of it, like if it works together, let's make that happen then. That's
what community is, right? Yeah, let's go. Well, I mean, yeah, that's my reason to be bullish in one word is community. You know, and ever since I got into the Bitcoin rabbit hole back in 2016, I did all of this by myself, and I made all the mistakes. And back then, 2017, the communities that I saw online, because I never met anybody in person in the Bitcoin world until later on in life, were not really what I was looking for. You know, it's just like everybody's just money hungry, and everybody's looking for to get ahead of the other person and whatnot. And not until 2020, 2021, when I found people that were in person talking about Bitcoin and started going to meetups with Bitcoin Charlotte. Shout out to Jacob there. But yeah, and that's where I started meeting like-minded people and then talking to them and then form a better community. And then I started traveling, and I wanted to start the same thing in Peru. And we started Orangeville, Peru, after many, many years of trying to find just Bitcoiners without going into the shitcoin hole. And finally did it, you know, and then going to El Salvador, going to Mexico. And by the way, my Viva Bitcoin people, I'm not Tony, but I've been asked if I was Tony Delgado before, so I just want to shout out that. But yeah, you know, community is growing so much now, and then everybody's very helpful. Adopt and Build Bitcoin was by far my favorite conference that I've been to with Bitcoin, and just because you have a lot of people from all over the world just seeking how we can help each other. This is what we're doing, and that's what I love when I found Motive Peru. It's like, that's where I'm from, you know, that's where my heart is. I was born and raised in Lima, and finding Motive Peru was like, hey, let me find these guys, talk to them, and see how we can work together to just keep this going. Yeah, that's my rant. I'll elaborate more as we get into it, but yeah, community is the best.
That's great. Let's let Born to Be Free. You guys, you can chime in here, and we'll just go wherever the conversation takes us.
Yeah, no, I mean, I couldn't agree more. There's really nothing like a Bitcoin community. I mean, you guys know, like, Bitcoiners are just the coolest freaking people there are, and just so genuine, and just real people. And we all, our values all align, so it's like we all see eye to eye, and we're all on the same page. It's just like, it's almost like we were like, you meet a Bitcoiner and you like know a Bitcoiner when you see one. You know what I mean? It's really just such an interesting experience. Like when we went to El Salvador, that was our first. Was that our first Bitcoin? No, we went to another. Freedom Fest was our first, but El Zante was just like, I mean, there's Bitcoiners everywhere, and I'm like, these are like the coolest freaking people I've ever met in my life. Like, just so nice. I was like devastated when we had to leave, because I felt like I was like leaving family behind. It's just crazy, that connection that you feel with them, and they're just really, really real people. And I love Bitcoiners. I really freaking do.
And I honestly believe that the Bitcoiner network or community has some of the smartest individuals in the world. 100%. So, like, to Jose,
brain magnet.
Yeah. Yeah. To Jose and Johnny's point, when you put all of these extremely intelligent individuals together, like, Bitcoin is the common thread that is pulling all of these individuals across the world together. So back to, like, what you were saying, Ben, about how far we could have been in society if not for the fiat monetary system. Well, now you have Bitcoin over here, which is this common thread, this community, this network, this money, whatever you want to call it, technology. And it's bringing all of these smart individuals together. And, there's no ceiling to where this thing could go, because now, 2 brains are better than 1, and 4 brains are better than 2, and on and on and on. So, like, who knows where this train could go? And it's just so exciting.
Yeah.
For me, it's just crazy to see how, it's beautiful to see how the incentives align, and you can see it when you meet with other Bitcoiners. You see the incentives in action, where we come from different backgrounds, different cultures, different everything, like even different values and whatnot. But the incentives make us all work together for a common thing. Like, I was in La Paz for a Bitcoin event, which I didn't have a clue how big it was going to be. It was in Mexico, so I had to be there. But I was just blown away by the people I met, and then how we all started to working together. I met Amanda, who is very active. She's very active on the comments, and the Viva Bitcoin team, and that's actually how I got in touch with you, Ben. So it's just amazing to see how the network just start expanding pretty fast. And now, I learned there's communities in Guadalajara, in Merida, like everywhere in Mexico, and everyone working for the same team, and that's crazy to see. Like, even we were at this university and where we're trying to like implement this Bitcoin course, and I met with the guys at public university, so you might imagine, they're always looking for money and stuff because they're from the government. So we're gonna give you all this, and we're gonna pay for everything. And the guy was like, "And what's the catch? Like, where are you gonna make money?" And he's like, he couldn't believe that we were doing this for free. And I was like, "Yeah, that's Bitcoin for you right there." He was like, "You need to tell me how are you gonna win, because otherwise I'm not gonna allow this to happen, because I know there's a catch." I was like, "Well, I own Bitcoin, so that's how I win. I'm just gonna bring more people to the market. That's gonna increase the price, and that's how I win. But I also help them, and they help me." So it was just, sometimes people think it's too good to be true, but it literally is.
Yeah. It's you're incentivized. I think us as Bitcoiners, we're all incentivized. Yes, to orange pill in general, but to bring people that bring value to Bitcoin, right? I think, I've begun approaching it in a way where I know that when I first started, it was just like every single person I was gonna like, "Oh, you got to hear about this thing." Now I think I use it. I look for opportunities where my time is best spent. And I think more people are doing that too, where they're strategically orange pilling because they're understanding, you know, if somebody's giving you like hard opposition and you're like, if it's somebody that like you don't particularly like, it's not like a relative or something like that, where you're like, oh, I genuinely want you to do to benefit from this. If it's just like a random person and they're meeting you with opposition, then, you know, like, why not go for the low-hanging fruit of like somebody that's curious, that you can just like, yeah, get them right in the door and help them down the pathway of like the good education and the signal, lead them to that. And again, the quality of people that you want to have, you obviously want to bring in as you were saying, Jose, the brain drain, right? Like you want the intellectuals and the people that can build things and the people that are like active, amazing contributors to society already, that you want them to have that brain drain where they go, I can't focus on what I was doing before. I'm going to come and I'm going to build cool stuff in and around Bitcoin, or just partake in the Bitcoin ecosystem by doing something that I'm good at and accepting Bitcoin for it, or whatever form it takes. But like, I love this build. I love this. I think the right people are discovering Bitcoin and building upon it. And I think we're going to get to a point where it's going to become noticeable in society, that Bitcoiners begin almost like forming like a parallel society that is that they noticeably thrive compared to those that have not yet come over to the new system. It's going to be odd for a while, because I think there's going to be two sets of people that are thriving. There's going to be the leeches in the fiat land that continue to leech value off of the people underneath of them, but that's power is going to gradually diminish. But there's going to be a period of time where like Bitcoiners and the fiat leeches look the same because they're both doing well, but the fiat leeches will begin to starve because more and more people will just leave that system and come over and start doing well. And that's going to be an interesting thing to watch, and it's very exciting.
Yeah, the fiat leeches also, they're not happy, or they're not as happy as Bitcoiners, and they're just not genuine people, and you could read that, you could read a person's character. So I think it'll be obvious the difference between the two.
Yeah, absolutely. It's it'll definitely be obvious in the disposition, because like if you're I love that fiat leech is now but the fiat leeches, they don't want to lift people up to know what they know, and Bitcoiners do.
Mm-hmm.
Right, like that's the difference there. Like the
it's all about incentives.
Yeah,
you know.
Yeah, and one, if you elevate somebody to your level in that leech game, well, they're now drinking your milkshake. When you elevate somebody to your level on the Bitcoin side of things, they're helping you make milkshakes for everyone, right? Like it's literally there's more to go around. It's great. Yeah,
you know, I always say that even for the fiat leeches, like even for them, the Bitcoin system is better, because who wants to be wealthy around homelessness, around like people in South America? Like you can be very wealthy, but you cannot enjoy your wealth because you go outside and they're going to rob you, they're going to kidnap you. So why would you want to live like that? Like even if you change to this system, you already have money, but everyone around you is going to be better. So I think it's better for everyone, even for them. They just don't know it yet, and hopefully it's gonna, you know, whatever, everybody gets into Bitcoin at the price they deserve, you know.
Yeah.
Do you guys have some of the, I mean, Jhonny, you were mentioning a couple of the communities that you've visited, and Born to Be Free, you guys have been down to El Zonte and everything. Are there other Are there other community projects and groups and things like that that you think are worth bringing up and doing shout outs for? Like anything that you've seen that you found interesting, like community wise?
Well, I have a few for sure. I'll start with Peru, of course. We got Motive Peru. I feel like a little bit by little, people are getting to know what Peru is doing with Bitcoin, which is quite amazing. How you have very remote places utilizing this tool, this Bitcoin, to transact and do everyday transactions. Where I'm in the United States and I'm having such a hard time getting businesses into it, especially with IBEX being gone and different options being gone. We had to resort to BTC Pay Server, and we just got a distillery, a brewery, and a restaurant into it, so we can do our market soon. But yeah, in Peru, we're doing the Bitcoin circular economies, which right now we're opening up travel with Bitcoin. So whoever wants to go visit Peru and check out all these circular economies and help us out and spend your Bitcoin and help the workshops and all the people in these little communities, please reach out to me. Reach out to Motive.Peru, Motive.Global. We're on Twitter. Reach out for that for sure. Here in Bitcoin Charlotte, we try to do as much as we can to educate people with workshops, just meetups. Of course, Halloween, I'm going to shout it out because that is coming up October 26th. We're taking it on the road to Atlanta. So hopefully I see you guys there. We enjoy having a good time as far as in the Bitcoin community. I feel like we're always working hard, but we also have to play hard, right? And that's kind of what the mind fell is that as Bitcoin, his birthday was October 31st. So that's what we celebrated as Halloween. So come and dress up as your favorite Satoshi Nakamoto costume and have a good time with us. In Mexico, as Jose mentioned, Amanda, Tony Delgado, everybody is initiating something good in Mexico. I went to visit there not too long ago. Like Isabella is doing the school with Mi Primer Bitcoin and Isla Mujeres. That was great. There's a couple of communities being formed over there, and there's some that I didn't get to see because they're on the other side of Mexico that I was not in. Argentina, I met a lot of the guys during the Bitcoin conference, and they have the Bitcoineta, where they have different vehicles all over in Africa, in Argentina, and El Salvador. I'm sure some of you that have been to El Salvador have seen the Volkswagen van. That's one of the Bitcoinetas that they have available. Maybe soon we'll have one in Peru as well. The team that's doing the Bitcoin Medellin, a Bitcoin only conference here coming up in January 17th. So that's exciting. It excites me a lot because I want to do my own in Peru soon. So in the next 2 years, guys, we're going to be there. We're going to make it happen. Bitcoin only though, because there's some happening there, but they're all, they got you alpaca coins and all these other coins out there that we don't know anything about. We were at the Bitcoin conference in Nashville on a table with the Bitcoin meetups. And one of the big organizations that are coming about as far as community goes is Atlantis. I'm not sure if you guys heard about that, but there's some of us ambassadors all over the world. We have a couple in Peru, here in Charlotte, and different big cities, and helping people to have a go-to hub as far as trying to see how the Bitcoin community is developing in different places, different cities all over the world. Which is great, because sometimes it's hard to find your people in different places when you're traveling. I have a friend of mine that met in El Salvador now is doing his trek all over America. So I'm giving him all the community members to hit up to see where he can go, where he can talk to somebody. The guys in Costa Rica are great, Guatemala, there's so many things. And of course, I talk about America because I've never been outside of America. I've been up and down, central, south, and middle. But that's all I know. There's so many exciting projects going on, and yeah, I'm very bullish about everything that's happening in the community in Bitcoin.
That's great. Again, I love when people take initiative, and if they don't have something locally, they just build it. I got to give a shout out to Satwise here in the chat. He said that there it is. Okay. Said I'm kicking off the first Northeastern Pennsylvania Scranton Wilkes-Barre Regional Bitcoin Meetup on Saturday the 21st at an excellent restaurant that I orange pilled. And this is the stuff that I love to see, where it's like hey, I want there to be a meetup. There's not one. And you know, at that point, you have two choices. You can just sit around and wait for somebody to make one, or realize if not you, then who, and just go do it, right? And like, yeah, sure, you might be there, you know, by yourself or hanging out with one or two other people for the first little bit, but like, people are going to look for something local, and eventually people will find it. And again, it's very proof of work. Like we're building up what we've got here. Like, I mean, the guys here in Calgary have been running the YYC Bitcoin meetup for quite some time, and they do it every couple of weeks, and that's every 2 weeks I think they have it, and like they've been killing it, and it's always great. And then we started doing our SAT market a couple times a year now, and so we get together all the Bitcoiners that already, you know, make or build or offer services or whatever, and we say, well, you've already got skills, you've already got businesses, you've already got things that you do or make. Why, you already know that Bitcoin's the better money. Why wouldn't you accept Bitcoin? And so we get everybody together, and now like I'm sourcing things that I wasn't able to source before. Like I can, you know, buy half a cow or a quarter cow. I can get eggs. I can, you know, I've got a personal trainer that comes to my house a couple days a week, and I pay him in Bitcoin. My kid shoved something down the toilet a couple months ago, so I called the Bitcoin plumber. Like I literally like I've got all these, like the guy who like my backdrop here, the like wood paneling, you know, paid in Bitcoin. He's a friend of mine, and he's like, yeah, I'll take Bitcoin for this one for sure. And so like I'm more and more trying to build that kind of circular local economy, and I just want to remove myself from the fiat economy as much as humanly possible. And it's getting more and more possible to string it together, yeah, either through services that allow me to kind of make that work, or things like Bit Refill where I can get gift cards to get gas and groceries. But I think the most important and most exciting part of it is to tie into Jose and Jhonny's points, is the community, the local community, because the thing that is going to be incredibly resilient against top-down pressures is just peer-to-peer relationships, and knowing people that also like and use Bitcoin and value it, and also build other things that you find that provide value to you, and you finding ways to provide value to them. And I think that's where Bitcoin becomes truly unstoppable.
Absolutely, man. And piggyback on what you just said, well, as you guys know, I sell hot sauce all over the states, and then you can buy it with Bitcoin. So bring it on. DelgadosFuego.com/BTC. Here in Charlotte, we've been organizing a Bitcoin market as well. We started doing it during Halloween, and this will be the third one, having it on October 12th. Have over 19 vendors now. We had the distillery taking Bitcoin, food trucks, and many vendors that never really experimented with this. You know, I do vendor markets with my hot sauce and different farmers markets, breweries, and whatnot, and I always have it on my table, a very colorful table, as some of you have seen it. But I have my Bitcoin logos and my Bitcoin stickers and whatnot. So a lot of other vendors have come up to me and asked me, what's this all about? Or just people randomly come out and ask me, do people actually pay you in Bitcoin? What is Bitcoin? What's going on? Or just see the alpaca with the Bitcoin chain. It's like, it's recognizable, right? So people are starting to ask questions and say, well, you know, you want to take Bitcoin? Let's go. Let's do it. Let me teach you how to do it. Let's start doing it. And now we have over 19 vendors there doing it, you know? And as we keep growing, as Ben says, it's like, it's going to keep bringing more people in and getting more services and different products that you didn't think to get it locally with Bitcoin. But yeah, it's such a good feeling. So October 12th, man, you guys check it out. If you guys are around Charlotte, North Carolina, we'll be at Great Wagon Road Distillery Company from 1 to 6. And you'll find all kinds of different services and food products and different products you can buy from Bitcoin. And if any vendors want to be part of it, feel free to call me up and let me know, and we can make it happen.
Hell yeah. Also, again, hot sauce, delicious. I love hot sauce on my eggs in the morning, and
Yeah.
I went through my hot sauce so quickly. It was gone in no time at all.
I gotta give myself a shout out right now because this is the first time publicly speaking about it. But this past weekend, we went to the North Carolina hot sauce contest, over 200 entries, and that's what the alpaca is wearing. We won two first places and one second place. So every single one of my hot
Wow.
sauces are award winning now.
Yes.
Yeah, baby.
Awesome,
Congratulations.
Yeah, baby.
Congrats. You deserve
That's
it.
Thank you,
badass.
thank you, thank you, thank
Yeah,
you.
see, Bitcoiners do everything better, man.
Yup.
You know it, man. No seed oils, all
Hell yeah.
natural. Let's
That's
go.
what's up.
Great.
Oh yeah, I'm on the website right now figuring out what I'm going to order. So I'm gonna have to pull up a cart and get a few. Yeah, no, that's super awesome, man. That's great. So I mean, I'm conscious of time here, but I do want to. I'm going to start winding down, but there's a certain way that I tend to like to wind down each episode, and that is to just go around one last time and just number one, get any final thoughts that you may have, or like a takeaway that you had from the episode, whatever that may be. That's fine. But more importantly, a recommendation. And so the recommendation can take any form, really. Like it could be as simple as like a piece of advice that you wish you had had along your Bitcoin journey, or maybe it's, oh, go read this book or check out this video or this blog or something that you found useful, or maybe it's, oh, I like this app, check it out, or this device, or something that you think somebody watching this would benefit from. And I'll give you some time to stew with that because I'll do mine first. But yeah, just kind of give it a once over in your head, and you know, whatever you throw out there, there's no wrong answers here. But yeah, so my takeaway from the chat is that through our broken system and the solution to our broken system, again, it's the previous system drove people apart and caused a lot of strife and has people at each other's throats currently, right? Like it's never been more divisive. It's never been more difficult to navigate. Like families are torn apart for having different opinions on different topics or picking the wrong politician or whatever it is. And the system has this, it's incentivized to have this divide and conquer mechanism in it. And just everybody is at each other's throats. And the new system is this unifying force that, as I mean, we just finished talking about community for the past half hour here. It's bringing people together. It's making people realize that they want to spend their time and effort in and around this new system, and they want to share it with others, and they want to lift each other up. And so, like, we're just, you know, it's been a rough go for a number of years for you know, a lot of people in this predatory system, and I think people are ready for a way out, and they're primed for it, and a lot of people are beginning to find it. And when they do, again, it's the whole Bitcoin is hope thing. Like it's bringing people together, and it's reigniting this passion for having communities and being good to one another and building things that are useful and providing value to the other people around you. And yeah, that's an incredibly bullish thing, and that's kind of my takeaway from the episode. And then in terms of recommendations, I mean, you know, I'm going to say you got to check out Albi Hub. It's so cool, and I'll say play around with that, but also test linking it to Zaprite, because that's pretty sweet. And then you have a little point of sale that links to your own node, and I think that's super cool. So anyways, that's my recommendation. I'll give it one last plug. There's a tutorial on it. You can find it on the channel. But with that, let's toss it to Born to Be Free, whoever wants to go first. So any takeaway that you had from the episode and a recommendation if you got one.
Yes. So, I mean, there was a lot from the show. It was really awesome, and I had a great time with you guys. But yeah, my takeaway back to community. I think that was just such a great point. Community and just contributing to the circular economy and building parallel structures. Like we really, thinking about it, like same thing that you said, Ben. We've really opted out of the system, and I think that's like step one. When you come to that realization that there's a lot of issues going on here and you go down these rabbit holes, you have to just the first thing you have to do is opt out one way or another. And for us, like our entry point for people is skincare, right? So we sell toxic free skincare, no chemicals, no BS. You could literally eat our products if you wanted to, but I don't recommend it.
I have.
But and we also we order our wine from Ben Justman and pay in Bitcoin. We order through, shout out to the Beef Initiative also, all regeneratively raised beef. We only purchase our meat from them. Satoshi Coffee, our peeps, they were also at the conference. I mean, just freaking great people, man. And, could pay in Bitcoin. They have amazing coffee. You got Jhonny Fuego over here. I mean, it's for your hot sauce. So who else am I missing? Oh, and we orange pilled our we have a local farm that we order like our produce from. So not our meat. Our meat's strictly Beef Initiative, but
eggs and raw milk.
Eggs, raw milk. It's called Utter Milk. They're right out of New Jersey, right next door to us, and they deliver every Thursday night. And I mean, we orange pilled this guy. He used to only take cash, and he's Egyptian.
Yeah, he's from Egypt, so it was easy to orange pill him.
Yeah.
He does not have financial privilege, as Alex Gladstein would say. So it's very easy to orange pill an Egyptian. And,
and he's getting it, and he's getting excited. And when it's going up, he's like, guys, look at this. Like every time he comes to our door, it's so cool. Like seeing somebody so excited about it that is really just learning and just getting into it. And it's rewarding for us because I'm like, wow, like we turned this guy on to this and look how happy he is, and we could change his life. You never know. So I guess my advice was definitely building your own parallel structures. Take one step. You can't do it all at once, but start with one thing. And also Beef and Bitcoin was a freaking great book too. I mean, I'm obviously big on like the whole food thing and Bitcoin, so it kind of brings them both together, and I think that's an awesome book to read. I mean, there's a million resources like I could just sit here and go on about, but that's my most recent one that I read. So
nice. It was, we did not plan this, but she kind of took my takeaway. My takeaway was going to be.
That's why I wanted to go first because we always think the same.
Yeah, my takeaway was just that, you don't have to depend on the government to do anything, and we legit. And by we, I mean the Bitcoin community. We literally have our entire parallel structure right here. Like Naja said, our food, our condiments, the best hot sauce, award-winning wine, coffee, skincare, anything you need. I pay for my my newsletters on Substack with Bitcoin. So your education, all the books that we have on our bookshelf. I mean, you could get everything except for taxes, which you could pay in fiat, but anything else you could pay in Bitcoin. So Bitcoiners are literally building this parallel structure that just, where you won't be dependent upon anybody, any fiat leeches or anyone in the fiat economy. We could just be over here doing our own thing. Don't fight the old system. Just focus your energy on building the new system in the world you want to live in. And my advice would be to just really educate yourself in whatever manner suits you, whether it's podcasts or books or audio or going to meetups and speaking with people, because when you have conviction, the volatility does not shake you at all. I mean, funny story, the day of the FTX blow up, that was our wedding day, 11/11/2022. We're in Mexico getting married. I'm getting myself together. Friends are texting me because, I got in the end of 2020, but early 2021, when we were already pumping pretty hard, I DCA'd, but everything I earned, everything I had was going into Bitcoin. So my friends are like, yo, you okay? You see what's going on? 15,000. I'm like, dude, I'm trying to buy more over
This
here.
is great.
I'm going over my vows. I'm like sweating. You know, in Mexico, it's hot. I see 15,000. I'm excited, you know, and all my friends are nervous for me. And I'm like, yo, what are you talking about? Like, I'm getting married today. Bitcoin's 15,000. Like, I mean, this is going to age tremendously. So when you have that conviction, like, I mean, this is my second, Peter McCormick calls it like a tour of duty. So I'm entering my second tour of duty. And these price swings are nothing, man. 75,000 to 48,000 or whatever the heck it is. Like, and that's all just because I've educated myself so much. I know what I own and I have the utmost conviction. So I've never sold a sat. I only spend and replace. And that's my biggest advice. Just get as much education as possible. It's gonna help you out on your journey.
Hell yeah. I love that. Again, you're absolutely right. If you've been through a cycle and you understand what you own, again, you watch these swings, go, huh? Yeah, great. Oh, sweet. Or great. I've got an invoice coming in. It just dipped. Fantastic. Love it. Yeah.
I actually get frustrated when it pumps so much. I'm like, oh man, because it doesn't make a difference in your day-to-day life. Like if it's at 75,000 or 48,000, life is still the same, or 100,000, whatever, So it's like I'm just trying to accumulate as much as possible for as little fiat as possible.
Yeah. Well, and again, if you live by there's a very simple formula: create value for others, spend less than you earn, and save in money that can't be printed by anybody. And there you go, save in Bitcoin and you're good to go. Or if you're already earning Bitcoin, then it's just create value, spend less than you earn. And that's pretty much the whole, that's a cheat code for life, is just do those couple of things and you're good to go. But yeah, fully agree. Awesome. Well, Jose, I'm going to toss it to you. And same thing, if you have any final thoughts or takeaway, and if you have a recommendation for people to check out, feel free.
Wait, really quick, I have a question because I'm trying to drop a link for Robert here for Satoshi Coffee. How do I do that?
If you drop it in the private chat, and then I'll put it into the live stream there, so he can click on it.
Perfect. Thank
Cool.
you. Sorry.
Yeah. All good. Jose, go ahead.
So yeah, my recommendation would be just putting the work. Freedom is not given. You need to earn it or take it. So don't try to learn everything by yourself. Don't try to do everything alone. The community has been growing, so take advantage of that. Find local people that can teach you, that you can talk to them. I think that's going to make your journey pretty fast. And to that point, we're building the Bitcoin Association in Mexico. We're trying to copy what El Salvador just did, where we put all these vendors together. So people in Mexico or people that are visiting, they can just go to one website and they can see everywhere. They can go in Mexico, where the communities are, reach to people. So just kind of make it easy for people or the community to reach each other, because sometimes Twitter can be too wide of a spread. So we're just trying to narrow it down to a country. So yeah, that's my advice. It's educate yourself and use the community to learn faster.
Hell yeah. Great advice. I fully agree. Again, I feel like I got to stand on the shoulders of giants because a lot of people did a lot of the learning for me before I got to come along. And now there's been so many incredible people that have contributed to great resources for people to level up. After multiple Bitcoin epochs, there's so much out there, and put in the work. A lot of it's been done for you. You just need to be hungry enough to consume it. So yeah, awesome. And Jhonny, I'm going to toss it to you finally as well. Any big takeaways from the episode and any recommendations? Go ahead.
Well, at the end of the day, what excites me the most about Bitcoin is not like the technology, but it's how it empowers everybody, individuals everywhere in the financial features, building communities. That's pretty much what I'm bullish on, and my recommendation with all of this would be go to your local meetups, create your local meetups, come to our Bitcoin market October 12th, come to Halloween and party with us.
Oh yes, That's awesome. It's a great party, by the way. I had the pleasure of attending one in 2022, I think.
Yeah.
In a
Yeah. I
couple
think,
of
yeah.
years.
Yeah. Yeah. 2 years ago.
Damn. Yeah. Well, I want to say a big thank you to all of you for joining the stream and getting bullish with me on a Friday evening. I really do appreciate it. I had a blast. And everybody watching, make sure you dip into the show notes and give everybody here a follow so that you can see what they're up to and all the stuff that they're doing. And yeah, I guess with that, I'll wrap it and I'll say thanks everybody for coming, and all of you are welcome back anytime.
Thank you, Ben.
Ben,
guys.
thank you so much. This was awesome. Guys, it was so good seeing you, Jhonny, and nice meeting you.
Yeah.
Keep up the good work, guys.
Thank you.
Absolutely.
You too.
Fruitful
Hopefully we'll
work.
meet up soon one of these days.
Awesome. All right. See you guys. Have a good Friday evening. I'll talk to you later.
All right.
You too.
Thanks.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye, guys.
Awesome. And everybody watching, thank you for being here. Thank you for joining in. I want to say a big thank you to everybody that watched the stream in the various locations it was being streamed to. We had over 3,000 people tune in and check out the episode over the course, and I'm sure we'll see more over time. I want to give a shout out to, first off, I want to give a big shout out to all the nostriches that have been watching this over on zap.stream. It's really cool to see everybody in there, and I'm working in ways to figure out how to get that live chat up there as well. I also want to give a big shout out to everybody in the live chat on YouTube. You guys kick ass. I love seeing you there and bringing in all your comments and everything. Really do appreciate it. And everybody over on X as well. Much appreciated to have you guys here. Of course, again, give everybody that was on the show follow. We have links for them down below. If you want to help the show in another way, you can hit up the previously mentioned sponsors there in these show notes. And finally, if you've been perusing the channel, you've been checking out the tutorials and leveling up, maybe you've hit a snag and you need some additional one-on-one attention, somebody to walk you through something. Well, I encourage you to reach out to my incredible team over at Bitcoin Mentor. We've aggregated just top-notch Bitcoin educators there, and they can help you walk through just about anything. So if you're setting up wallets, you're dealing with hardware, trying to figure out how to use your first, for instance, cold card queue, which I love, or if you're figuring out multisig, or maybe you're running a node for the first time, or trying to figure out Lightning or AlbiHub, or even like some hobbyist home mining, they can help you through it. They can walk you through all the steps and get whatever you're doing up to snuff. So don't be a Bitcoin Luddite. Don't stand still. Always be learning. And whether that's through the free tutorials on the channel or whether you need some one-on-one help, go get it done, and never stop learning. Anyways, with that, I am out. Have yourselves a wonderful day or evening, wherever you may be. I'll see you guys next time for your daily session. Cheers, guys.
HODL the Bitcoin.